The days blurred together, each one heavy with dread. In the suffocating silence, a single breakthrough shattered the fog, a fingerprint, smeared on torn fabric, belonging to a drifter with a violent past. The woods seemed to hold their breath, shadows pressing in as if listening. The drifter was found in an abandoned cabin, eyes darting, hands shaking. Under the harsh glare of interrogation he broke, confessing to Emma's murder and to framing James. Relief and horror tangled in the air as if the truth itself was too heavy to bear. The town mourned James, his name finally cleared, but the wounds ran deep. Grief clung to every window, every whispered conversation. Trust was a ghost, slow to return, haunting every heart. Detective Simmons, voice thick with regret, "We got justice, but at a terrible cost." The words echoed, swallowed by the hush of the woods. Hollow Creek tried to heal, but the memory of the woods, and the unseen watcher, haunted every shadow. Some nights the air felt thick, as if secrets drifted between the trees, waiting to be found. Just as the town's heartbeat slowed, a new tremor. Sarah Jennings, a local teacher, stepped forward. Her voice trembled, eyes wide with fear, as if she carried a secret too heavy to speak. "Sarah," her words barely a whisper, "I saw a figure near the woods that night, not James, someone taller, hidden in a dark hoodie. I felt eyes on me, cold and unblinking." Detective Simmons, leaning in, voice taut, "Can you remember anything else, anything at all?" The room felt smaller, the silence pressing in. Sarah, her hands shaking. He was carrying something, maybe a bag. He moved fast, always glancing over his shoulder like he knew he was being watched. Police transcript, audio crackles. Officer Ramirez. "We found a torn piece of fabric near the creek. Bloodstains, fresh, dark." The woods felt colder, as if something watched from the shadows. Forensic report. DNA analysis inconclusive. The blood matches neither James nor Emma. The mystery deepened, shadows lengthened, and the woods seemed to close in. Detective Walker, voice barely steady, "If not James, then who? The case just got colder and far more dangerous." Fear crept back in, silent and relentless. A second witness, a truck driver, voice rough with nerves, reported seeing a blue sedan tearing away from the woods at dawn, tires spinning on wet gravel, fear etched on his face. Police transcript, radio static, "Dispatcher, all units, be on the lookout for a blue sedan, possibly tied to the Hollow Creek case." The town held its breath, waiting for answers that never came. The town's fear deepened, every new clue pointing to a faceless suspect still at large. Doors locked early. Lights burned through the night, but darkness pressed against every pane. In Hollow Creek, North Carolina, dread became a morning ritual. Every sunrise brought new questions and no comfort. Each day began with James Holloway's silent vigil. His presence a question mark in the mist, a figure both mourned and feared. Before sunrise, he'd park his battered blue truck by the woods, engine ticking in the cold, breath fogging the glass, always at the same lonely spot as if waiting for something only he could see. The woods watched back, silent and patient. He'd stand, motionless, breath clouding in the dawn, a statue among the trees, haunted, unblinking. Eyes fixed on the tangled branches, searching for answers or ghosts. The silence pressed in, thick and unyielding. The townsfolk whispered behind closed doors, suspicion thick as the morning fog. Every glance was a question, every silence an accusation. That patch of woods was a crime scene, forever marked by yellow tape and silent dread. The earth itself seemed to remember. The tape fluttered in the wind, a warning, a memory, a scar that would not heal. James never spoke, never explained. His silence was louder than any confession, echoing through the town. His presence unsettled everyone, a shadow that stretched across every heart, refusing to fade. Was he grieving, or hiding something darker? The question lingered in every glance, guilty, or just lost in sorrow. The line between the two blurred in the mist. No one knew. The question gnawed at the town day and night. His daily vigil became a chilling reminder. Evil could hide in plain sight, and the forest kept its secrets well. People avoided the road, glancing over their shoulders, haunted by what they might see, or what they might remember. Uneasy with his silent watch, they hurried past, hearts pounding in the gloom, afraid of the answers the woods might hold. Weeks slipped by, each one heavier than the last. The weight of suspicion never lifted, but James remained, a living shadow at the edge of town, a question that refused to fade, no matter how many answers were given. The question lingered, unanswered, unsettling. The woods offered no comfort. What was he waiting for? Redemption, revenge, or something only the woods could offer? The answer hid in the darkness. In Hollow Creek, fear had a face, pale, silent, and always watching. The town could feel its gaze. And it watched from the woods, patient and unseen as the story twisted deeper into darkness. The nightmare was far from over. The nightmare began when Mia Thompson's dog led her to a thicket near the woods. There, she found Emma Carver's body, her red jacket unmistakable. Emma, a beloved teenager, had been missing for days. The town's sense of safety shattered instantly. Police swarmed the scene, Sheriff Brody promising justice, but evidence was scarce and leads dried up. The community mourned Emma, gathering for a candlelight vigil. Grief turned to fear, parents clung to their children. The streets felt different, trust eroded. Whispers grew. Was the killer among them? The town's unity cracked, suspicion seeping into every corner. Hollow Creek was no longer safe. The horror had only just begun. As police questioned everyone, one name kept surfacing: James Holloway. Residents described his daily, silent watch at the crime scene. At first, police dismissed it as morbid curiosity, but the sheer consistency was unsettling. Sheriff Brody visited James, who claimed he was mourning, praying for Emma. His answers were vague, his alibi unprovable. Detective Walker, he was too calm, too rehearsed, no proof of where he was that night. The inconsistencies made James the prime suspect. The watcher was no longer just a bystander. The investigation narrowed, and the town's suspicion grew. James Holloway became the focus of their fear. The case took a dark, personal turn. The woods watched back. Police searched James's home, finding Emma's locket and a library book in his garage. The evidence was damning. James was arrested for Emma's murder. Shock rippled through Hollow Creek. Could their quiet neighbor be a killer? Claire Meadows? He was odd, but a murderer? I can't believe it. Tom Rivera? Guess you never really know anybody. In custody, James said nothing. No confession, no denial. Detective Walker, he just stared, no answers. 2 weeks later, James was found dead in his cell. An apparent suicide. He left no note, no explanation. The town tried to move on, but the truth felt incomplete. 6 months later, another girl vanished nearby, under eerily similar circumstances. Was James truly guilty, or had the real killer slipped away? The case was closed, but the questions haunted Hollow Creek. In the woods, silence lingered. And so did the fear. As the dust settled, Hollow Creek found itself divided by whispers and rumors. The night Emma vanished, everyone remembered it differently. We spoke to those who claimed to have seen or heard something, their voices weaving a tangled web of doubt. Mrs. Langley, James's next-door neighbor, recalled, "I saw James taking his trash out around midnight. He looked tired, not dangerous. I heard nothing unusual." But across the street, Mr. Patel insisted, "There was a loud argument from the Holloway house, a woman's voice, crying, maybe screaming. I called out, but no one answered." Then there was Megan, a teenager walking her dog that night. "I saw a blue sedan speeding away from the woods. I could swear it wasn't James's car. The driver, someone with long hair, I think." Contradictions didn't end there. Old Mr. Dobbs, who lived near the forest's edge, offered, "I saw a flashlight bobbing through the trees. 2 figures, not one. They disappeared before I could get a better look." Even the town's night shift baker, Rosa, had a memory to share. James came in for coffee around 1 a.m. He looked shaken. He barely spoke. Each statement painted a different picture, and with every retelling, the truth grew murkier. Was James a cold-blooded killer, or just a convenient scapegoat? Was someone else lurking in the shadows of Hollow Creek? As the town replayed that night over and over, one thing became clear. Everyone remembered something, but no one remembered the same thing. The mystery deepened, and the woods kept their secrets. The investigation into Emma's disappearance took center stage at the Hollow Creek police station. Behind closed doors, detectives pored over every detail, their voices low and urgent. Sound of a tape recorder clicking on. "Detective Simmons? James, let's go over it again. Where were you between midnight and 1 a.m.? James, voice trembling. "I told you. I was home. I took out the trash, then couldn't sleep, so I went for coffee." Detective Simmons, "And you saw no one else? Heard nothing from the woods?" James, "No, I just needed some air." Sound fades out, replaced by static and snippets of police radio chatter. "Dispatcher, Unit 4, report of suspicious activity near Old Mill Road. Flashlight seen in the woods. Proceed with caution. Officer Ramirez, over radio. Copy that, en route." Cut to a tense exchange in the squad room. Detective Lee, "We've got conflicting witness statements and now this, security footage from the bakery." James looks rattled, but there's a time gap. He leaves at 12 a.m., that's almost an hour unaccounted for. Detective Simmons, "And what about the blue sedan Megan mentioned? No one in town owns a car like that." Detective Lee, We checked the plates. Turns out the sedan was reported stolen 2 days before Emma vanished. Brief pause. Sound of papers shuffling. Detective Simmons. What about the evidence from the woods? Forensic tech. We found footprints, 2 sets, and this. Sound of a plastic bag being opened. Forensic tech. A woman's scarf. Blood on the hem. Detective Lee, quietly. Send it to the lab, rush it. Sound of a door closing, voices fading. Every answer led to more questions. Every lead seemed to circle back to the same haunting uncertainty. The detectives felt the weight of Hollow Creek's suspicion, and the shadow of something or someone still hiding in the woods. The case was unraveling, but the truth remained just out of reach. As dawn crept over Hollow Creek, the woods gave up another secret. Officers combing the undergrowth stumbled upon a blood-stained glove, half buried beneath a tangle of roots. The fabric was torn, the blood still dark and sticky. Forensic teams rushed to cordon off the area, their flashlights slicing through the mist. Before investigators could process the new evidence, an unnerving phone call rattled the station. The line crackled with static, and a distorted voice whispered, "You're looking in the wrong place. She's not alone." Detective Simmons replayed the message, searching for meaning in the garbled words. But the woods held one more secret, a piece of cardboard propped against a fallen log, scrawled in red ink, "Time is running out." The disturbing clues cast fresh suspicion across the case. Was the caller a witness, a taunter, or something more sinister? And did the message mean Emma was still alive? Or was it just a cruel game? As the evidence mounted, so did the dread. Hollow Creek was no closer to answers, but the danger felt closer than ever. Just as investigators began to piece together the grim puzzle, the case took another unexpected turn. In the early hours, a key witness, Mrs. Halpern, who had claimed to see a shadowy figure fleeing the woods, arrived at the station, her hands trembling and eyes darting nervously. Under the harsh glow of the interrogation room, her story began to change. She hesitated, then admitted she might have been mistaken. "It was dark," she whispered, "and I was scared. Maybe it wasn't who I thought." Before detectives could press further, news broke. A well-known local, Owen Carter, the quiet handyman with no enemies, had suddenly disappeared. His truck sat abandoned at the edge of the woods, keys still in the ignition. Inside, police found a torn photograph of Emma and a cryptic note. "You never really know someone." Panic rippled through Hollow Creek. Was Owen running from something, or had he been silenced? Was Mrs. Halpern protecting someone or herself? The lines between truth and deception blurred, leaving the town gripped by uncertainty. As night fell again, porch lights flickered on across Hollow Creek. Doors were locked, curtains drawn. And somewhere in the darkness, an answer waited, just out of reach. The case remained unsolved, the fear unresolved, and the woods, ever watchful, kept their secrets for another night. Just when it seemed Hollow Creek would be forever haunted by unanswered questions, a glimmer of hope pierced the darkness. Early the next morning, 2 hikers stumbled into the sheriff's office, their faces pale and anxious. They claimed to have found something unusual deep within the woods. A weathered backpack, half buried beneath a fallen log, its contents scattered and damp from the morning dew. Inside the backpack were items that belonged to Owen Carter, a notebook filled with frantic, unfinished entries and a small, rusted key. But most shocking of all was a blood-stained scarf, one that Emma had been seen wearing the night she vanished. Investigators rushed to the scene, cordoning off the area for a thorough search. Word of the discovery spread quickly through the town, reigniting both hope and fear. Forensic teams combed the woods, their flashlights piercing the early mist as they searched for more clues. Meanwhile, another unexpected development surfaced. A local teenager, previously too afraid to speak, finally came forward. With a shaky voice, he described a late-night encounter near the woods, a shadowy figure hurriedly discarding something before vanishing into the trees. With fresh evidence and new testimony, detectives felt the case shift beneath their feet. The tangled web of Hollow Creek's secrets began to unravel, thread by thread. For the first time in weeks, the townspeople allowed themselves a cautious breath of hope. The truth, long buried in the darkness, was finally clawing its way into the light. As dawn breaks over Hollow Creek, a gentle hush falls across the town. For the first time in months, the air feels lighter, hopeful. Families gather at their windows, watching the sunrise, hearts beating with cautious relief. In the sheriff's office, investigators share quiet smiles and tired embraces. The final pieces of the puzzle have fallen into place, and the weight of uncertainty begins to lift. Together they piece together the last fragments of a story that once threatened to tear the town apart. What was once a mystery shrouded in fear is now illuminated by truth and courage. The darkness that haunted Hollow Creek finally begins to recede. The evidence from the woods, Owen's notebook, the rusted key, Emma's blood-stained scarf, becomes the bridge to healing, not just for the case but for every wounded heart. Owen's words, once frantic, now offer comfort, a final act of bravery that brings peace to Emma's family and to his own. The rusted key unlocks not just a shed but the truth that has eluded Hollow Creek for so long. Emma's scarf, once a symbol of loss, is now a token of remembrance, her story no longer a whisper in the woods, but a light for the living. The missing link is found, and with it the town's faith in justice and in each other is restored. Forensic results confirm what many feared, but also what they needed to know. Emma never left those woods, but her memory will never be lost again. The forest, once a place of secrets, now stands as a silent witness to the truth. Owen's frantic writings reveal the burden he carried, and the courage it took to finally set things right. He had seen the confrontation that changed everything, and his testimony brings long-awaited closure. The old storage shed, once forgotten, now holds the answers that free Hollow Creek from its nightmares. Inside, detectives find Emma's belongings, each item a piece of her story, each one a step toward peace. The jacket, the receipts, the lighter, all point to the one who hid in plain sight, and the truth can no longer be denied. The brave teenager's memory is vindicated, and the shadows that once haunted the town begin to fade. The evidence is irrefutable. Justice at last is within reach. The lighter, a small but crucial clue, brings the investigation full circle. The perpetrator, once trusted, is finally revealed and brought to justice. The town's faith in each other, once shaken, is slowly restored. No one ever suspected, but now, the truth unites them in relief and understanding. As the truth unfolds, Hollow Creek breathes as one, grateful, grieving, and finally at peace. The revelation ripples through every home, every heart, bringing tears and embraces, and a sense of safety returning at last. The perpetrator is arrested, and the nightmare that gripped Hollow Creek finally ends. The weight of suspicion and fear lifts, replaced by a quiet, collective relief. That evening, the town gathers for a candlelight vigil. Hands join, faces glow in the soft light, and voices rise in gentle remembrance. They honor Emma's memory, Owen's courage, and the strength that carried them through the darkness. Hollow Creek is forever changed, but now, hope and unity fill the spaces where fear once lived. Healing begins, quietly at first, then all at once, as neighbors embrace and families find comfort in one another. In the soft glow of candlelight, the townspeople stand together, no longer divided by suspicion, but united by truth and compassion. Hands clasped, hearts open, they look to the future with hope. Secrets no longer separate them, the pain is shared, but so is the promise of brighter days. United by the truth, Hollow Creek finds its strength again. The woods, once a place of dread, are silent now, bathed in the gentle light of a new day. This time, the silence is peaceful, filled with the promise of healing. The story of Hollow Creek closes not with fear, but with hope, hope that will echo through the woods for generations to come. As the sun rises, the town stands together, forever changed, but finally free. In Hollow Creek, the dawn brings not just light, but peace.